Hello folks, well, I was just thinking about sort of magnification, okay, because I was like doing a video and as you do, zooming in, zooming out, and I was thinking about that, and I was thinking how sometimes we can, because like the newspapers and the radios and the televisions and that, it's all, if you look at most of the news, it's all, I don't know, I sometimes think they must have some deals going with the pharmaceutical industry to sell more antidepressants and sell more bottles of, bottles of booze and stuff like that, because sort of for people to be able to cope with all the more bad news, more bad news, more bad news. I mean, it's enough to make people, sort of paranoid and feel sort of really low, isn't it? And you get something like, I don't know, well, say something like knife crime, right? The number of people what is seriously hurt with knives, certainly in Britain, compared with, like, for example, I don't know, the number of people that get cancer or heart attacks or anything like that, it's tiny. I think one time I looked and it was about 20 one year, but because they bang on about it so much, it gets stuck in people's minds as a major problem, because, well, they're always telling us about it, and then they might sort of say, well, the rate is up by 50%. What it might mean is there's, I don't know, 5 more cases this year than there was last year, but it's so it might be sort of like, you might have, say, I don't know, 20 last year and 25 this year or something like that, and that if they give it as a percentage, it's a lot, sounds a lot worse than if they just said, oh, we've got 3 more cases this year. you know what I mean? It's and of course, so because people all over the country are all getting the same news, they all have the same perception. So of course everybody's talking about it. Now, if it was just like, say, I don't know, say there was a fair spate of it in one particular area, and it was only reported in the local newspaper, only that area would be talking about it, right? But because it's reported nationally, everybody's talking about it, so therefore it seems like it's some big deal, because, well, everybody's talking about it, so it must be some big deal. So of course it gets magnified. So then of course, and it's a bit similar with things like the swine flu, isn't it? You've got a few cases, and relative to the normal flu, it's milder, and there ain't that many people, sort of really bad with it or anything like that. And that, apart from the fact, you wonder if they're actually testing everybody that has allegedly got swine flu, and actually really, whether they really know if, sorry, I've got a bit of bramble on me, if they really know all these cases are actually swine flu. But because they keep banging on about it, it sort of intensifies it, sort of magnifies it. So a little tiny problem looks like a massive problem, and it's global, because they say it is. It might not be, but because they say it is, and everybody's talking about it, and they do the same thing, the magnification thing, with like global warming, don't they? You get a really, really hot summer, oh, they'll be pointing at that one, but when it's, they tell us, oh, there's going to be a heat wave, well, there wasn't a heat wave, and they know there wouldn't be a heat wave because it was cooling, but it panics people, and they get, oh, and then of course when there isn't a heat wave, and when it's quite cold, they don't actually mention the word global warming. There and then on climate change, and people going, oh, the weather's bad, oh, it's our fault, because they're getting bombarded with this stuff, and it's magnifying it, and it's like all sorts of things where people get sort of really kind of, like, it's as though it's sort of kind of overemphasised, if that makes sense. It's like people are over you know, they're sort of perceiving it as being much worse than it is, and they're always doing it with all sorts of things, and you can always tell what the latest panic scare, terrorising the people with. You can always tell, because you just listen to anybody and you can listen to what they're talking about, and you can tell sort of people, you know, might be nervous about something, or they might and don't mean, you know, and then of course you get the people that say, well, there's no smoke without fire and all that malarkey, and then I could say to them, well, what about some friends of mine, the husband, whenever he goes through customs, I always pull him over, and he's one of them nicest, most decent blokes on the planet, but he's just got a craggy face, so they pull him over because they, oh look, he looks suspicious. And that don't help, does it? I mean, it don't help people when they're going abroad or whatever, and they think, oh, a fly, and they're already nervous probably of flying, especially because, you know, we've got Al-Qaeda on the go still, and then of course they're told, oh yeah, we've got these things to scan people to see if their body language is suspicious. So you've got these poor luckless souls who are nervous about flying, they're nervous about hanging around the airport anyway, and you can see that probably the innocent people are just a bit sort of, you know, get a bit nervy, are going to be pulled over and probably accused of being smugglers or terrorists, all because they was a little bit, I'm a bit nervous when I go through customs, or I'm a bit nervous about getting on the plane, you know, and the staff will be going, oh look, that person's all getting a bit fidgety and they haven't got on the plane yet. Oh, especially if the person's of a particular ethnic persuasion, that might even be worse, mightn't it? It might be. They're going to this nice, decent. There's probably somebody runs a little shop, you know, going back to the back to wherever it is their ancestors come from, for see the relatives, and you know, got the wrong colour skin, shall we say, or exhibit signs of the wrong religion, and oh dear, acting suspiciously, yeah, pull that one over, you know. And as you say, it's sort of kind of, they do tend to sort of, as I say, they're always harping on, and you always tell with words as well, all the current words that's being used on the telly and stuff like that. And I know I do it from time to time. I pick it up from other people, and you get words like, I'm just trying to think of all the phrases, like basically, and so there we are, and that's the thing, and the problem is, and so there we have it, and you know, right. I could list a load of them, but you know, the sort of phrases that don't mean anything, they're like they just sort of fill in all the gaps. And this is the sort of, I'll just sidetrack you slightly. Here's sort of one of these folly things. You can see it. It's a stone arch, and they used to build them. The rich people used to build them because they haven't got anything else better to do, I suppose. To keep the peasants working, didn't it? So it's like a stone arch. I suppose if you could afford to build something like this, it showed you got money to waste, didn't it? So you must be extremely rich to build something that's completely useless. So, well, I suppose it's nice-ish. Shows somebody had a bit of skill with putting stones up, doesn't it? Anyway, cheers for now.